Hello, hello, it's mystery author Ellie Alexander, and it's time again for another 5 Things Friday. This week, I am answering 5 reader questions from the Sloan Krause series. There's a new book about to come out, so stay tuned and we'll talk about it. I hope your Friday is off to a great start. I'm spending mine outside on my back porch in the lovely late spring, early summer, not quite summer sun. And this week I am answering 5 reader questions about the Sloan Krause series. The Pint of No Return, the second book in the series, releases in mass market paperback in less than a month. So if you haven't read book 2, it's a great time to pre-order or get ready to grab yourself a copy at the end of June. But without further ado, let's get straight to reader questions. Number 1, this question comes from Anna. Hi, Anna. Anna asks, are there going to be more Sloan Krause books? Why, yes, Anna, I'm so glad that you asked. Book number 3 in the series, Beyond a Reasonable Stout, dun dun dun. This book comes out in early October, and I cannot wait to share it with you. This book is set at the end of Oktoberfest, so it's kind of in between seasons in Leavenworth, and Sloan and Garrett are prepping their holiday line of beers. It's kind of that dead season in Leavenworth, literally and figuratively. It's available for pre-order now, so you can hop online and get that, or look for this book in October. And in other exciting Sloan Krause news, it's a bit windy here, can you tell? I recently finished the first draft of book number 4, Grain and Suffering. This book won't come out until 2020, and this is just what a first draft looks like. I have yet to even put one little hint of red pen on it, so there's lots more of Sloan to come, and I can't wait to share it with you. Question 2. Question 2 comes from Linda. Linda says, I'm dying to know about Sloan's parents. When are we going to learn more? Great question, Linda, and I also love that you used dying. I'm sure you intended that as a pun. One of my favorite parts of writing Sloan is building out her backstory. So for those of you who are new to the series or unfamiliar with the books thus far, Sloan Krause is a female brewer in the Bavarian village of Leavenworth, Washington. She's a strong female protagonist. She knows everything there is to know about the world of craft beer. And then, of course, she stumbles upon murders every once in a while. Well, one of the subplots that is running through this series is where Sloan's origin story has come from. She grew up in the foster care system. These are no spoilers. You'll learn this right away if you read the first book, Death on Tap. And she's recently learned like a little nugget about her history in her search for her birth parents. As a writer, I absolutely love getting to develop subplots and kind of arcs that run through multiple books. And I will tell you that in book number 3, Beyond a Reasonable Stout, we are going to learn more about Sloan's search for the truth. And there's even more of it in Grain and Suffering. So I don't know when, Linda, we're going to know for sure, but you're going to get glimmers of her past in the next 2 books. That's all I know for now. Number 3, this question comes from Ryan. Ryan says, you said that Leavenworth is real, but how much is fictionalized in your books? That's also a really great question, Ryan. Leavenworth is a real town with about 2,000 permanent residents. It's tucked into the northern Cascade Mountains. I have this lovely little map of the city that I always have up on my office wall when I'm working on a book. And the fun thing about this is I kind of have pinpointed where I imagine Nitro would be, where Drkeller is, all of the adorable Bavarian-inspired shops in the village are featured in some way in my book. The names might be changed slightly. I might have moved Dr. Keller, which is really, if you're going to Leavenworth Icicle Brewing, you should totally check it out. I might have moved it down Front Street a little bit. Blackbird Island is real. This is Leavenworth at its core. I mean, this is basically the size of the town. You know, there's a little area off north that takes you to the high school and the road that takes you to Wenatchee. But otherwise, most of my inspiration comes from the real Bavarian village. Question number 4. Question number 4 is from Barb. Barb asks, is there a spark of romance between Sloan and Hans? This question made me laugh because when I wrote the first book in the series, Death on Tap, I delivered it to 5 early readers, all of whom gave me feedback on the book, on character development, on the setting, on, you know, basically anything I could, because it was the first book in the series. So I always want to seek out feedback from readers to see like what's working, what's not working, are there areas that I can strengthen? And I kid you not, 3 out of the 5 readers asked if Sloan and Hans eventually were going to end up together. For anyone who's new to the series, Hans is Sloan's brother-in-law, and she's grown up with him like a brother. They've known each other for 20 years now, and he's a few years younger and is kind of a steadfast supporter of her. And when I was writing it in that vein, like in this really connected brother-sister relationship, and I never picked up any hint of romance. That wasn't even on my radar, but I think it's interesting that sometimes readers pull that. So I guess my answer to this question is, I don't know. I know that Sloan and Mac aren't going to end up together, and again, no spoilers there. If you've read even the first line of the book, you'll understand why that's true. But I'm not really sure where Sloan's going to go in terms of her future. In my head, I have another idea planned for her, but I don't know. Maybe Hans will be the dark horse who sweeps in and sweeps our craft brewmaster off her feet. We'll have to wait and see. Number 5. Number 5 comes from Drew. Drew asks, my daughter is 13 and loves your Bake Shop series. Is this series okay for tweens? I love that, first of all, Drew, you have a daughter who is reading the Bake Shop Mysteries or mysteries of any kind. I sparked my love for the genre in my early tween years. In terms of the Sloan Krause series, my answer to that question would be maybe. It's not a lot darker. It still falls in the category of cozy. But if you think of cozy on a scale of like totally benign to a little bit less benign, Sloan probably falls on that edge of the category. There's a little bit of language. In the opening scene on Death on Tap, she walks in to find her husband in an embrace, shall we say, with the beer wench. And of course, it's set in a brewery. As a writer, I love getting to write about craft beer. And one of the things that I think is interesting about craft beer, and the reason that people refer to it as craft, is because drinking it is really about the craft. The vast majority of people aren't going to a craft brewery to knock back 20 pints of an IPA. People are drinking it for the flavor and the profile, and that's what I write about in the series. But nonetheless, it is set in a brewery. So I would say there's nothing that's like gratuitously violent or sexual in nature, but for a 13-year-old, I might steer her more toward the Bake Shop Mysteries. Obviously, Drew, you are your best judge of your daughter's maturity and reading ability. I would kind of classify this series along the same lines as like Gilmore Girls in terms of content. There's a little bit of adult content, but nothing shocking. The big moral to the story is cheers to building young readers. I love that tweens are reading, and they should read everything they can get their hands on. Thanks for joining me for another 5 Things Friday on a beautiful sunny afternoon in Ashland, Oregon. What are you reading this weekend? I'd love to know in the comments below. And as always, please subscribe to my channel and click the bell to get notified whenever I share new videos. Happy reading!